model will be featured from one of my favorite all-time comics superheroes in the world, Batman. Wait a minute, that doesn't say Batman. This is the Green Hornet. Never mind. The Green Hornet, who is a crime fighters that originated in the 30s, like Batman, and he is a rich industrialist, like Batman, and he fought crime, like Batman. This has nothing to do with Batman, but I do like Batman. If you haven't picked up on it yet. So anyway, this is the Green Hornet. This is a another superhero that originated in the 1930s. He was a detective crime fighter, similar to Batman, but not Batman. And more specifically, this is his car in a new one for the channel, 1/32 scale. So let's see what's inside. While we're opening this, a little bit more history on the Green Hornet. The Green Hornet, unlike Batman, was originally developed for radio, like I said, back in the 1930s. I can't remember the creators that were involved in this, but we're going to get to that in a second. The secret identity of the Green Hornet was Britt Reid. Now, Britt Reid was, his father was the nephew of another famous Reid that was in the radios at the time. If anyone can guess it in the comments below, that'll be great. I don't see any guesses yet, so I'll tell you. It's the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger was, I think it was John Reid was the Lone Ranger, based on the true life exploits of shoot, I knew this a few minutes ago when I did all the research. Bass, the legendary lawman in the West. So that's the body. These are some more parts, and let's start with this. So like I was saying, Britt Reid is the great nephew of the Lone Ranger, and they were created by the same team that created the Lone Ranger. So they live in the same Green Hornet Lone Ranger shared universe. So that's a thing. And they both had adventures on the radio back in the early days of broadcast media. Now, if you're not familiar with the Green Hornet or the Lone Ranger or radio, then you need to get out more. But I have a feeling that many of you have heard of both of these people. You may not have known that either one or both of them or had radio programs, but that was their origin. It was an exciting time to be following the exploits of adventurers and lawmen on the radio, and mysteries, and radio was all the thing. So we have those. It looks like that was our instruction sheet. Here is our chrome sheet with the very small pieces because it is in a smaller scale. Now, if you are familiar with the Green Hornet, it might be from his 1960s TV show. It's conspicuously called the Green Hornet. And this show featured a very young Bruce Lee that starred as the Green Hornet's driver, Kato. And it also paved the way for the creation of the series Kung Fu, which was inspired by Bruce Lee, but not given credit. Of course, given to is it David King? Kung Fu. It was something that I remember seeing as a kid, but I don't remember much about it. As a kid, they had reruns of the 1960s Batman show. Again, coming back to Batman. And what happened is on one of the Batman shows, and this was a very campy show, one of the Batman episodes featured a crossover with Batman, Robin, the Green Hornet, and Kato. That I'm sure that was exciting. I don't remember that. I didn't see a lot of Batman shows. It was kind of too cheesy for me at the time. But I don't mind revisiting that series at some point. This car is based on the 1966 Chrysler Imperial limousine sedan. A very beautiful, very regal looking vehicle. Not to be confused with the Buick. It's not a Buick Regal looking, but it's a very regal, stately car. Could have taken a head of state or a gangster or any one of a lot of exciting people around town. And in this one, it took a crime-fighting individual by the name of the Green Hornet. Very exciting, very small scale. The glass molded in one piece for the front windshield, the rear glass, the side open, and then the rear glass. These are, I think, taillights, and I want to say this is something to do with the well, let's not give you bad information. Let's look it up and see what it says. Because I am very unfamiliar with this. Again, I know, I am giving you bad information. So this isn't the rear glass. This is the privacy glass. Now it looks like it can go up and down. No, maybe not. It just sits in there. The small glass goes to a bulletproof rear window. That's exciting. Your headlight lenses right here. Those are what the smaller ones were. I thought they were taillights, but I guess they're not. Very, very interesting. And some more exciting kits from Polar Lights. Here's the Batmobile from the 1960s band show. This is the show they had the crossover. And boy, I think Batman was a very campy show at the time. I'm sure it's really enjoyable for a lot of people, and I'm sure I'd enjoy it. So I'll probably look it up again at some point. But the Green Hornet, from what my research showed, is that it was a more serious toned show, more of a primetime, exciting adventure for the big screen or the small screen, very small screen back in those days. To get an idea of what 1/32 looks like compared to a 1/24 scale, another green themed car, but not the Green Hornet car. This is a Ferrari, basically what would be the size of a Testarossa. And quite small. This thing would be almost double the size of this in real life. So let's see. Give me 1 second. All right, getting back to the show now. I thought it was interesting that this was a character that was created for the radio, and I thought it was really interesting that it was created by the same team that created the Lone Ranger. That's kind of superhero royalty right there some of the earliest ones. At the same time, you had comic books that were coming out at the time, like Action Comics, which featured a very unknown Superman. You had Detective Comics, which is where the D and C from Detective Comics comes from. DC Comics had Batman, as well as a few other characters that survive to this day. But whereas those were created for the comic books, this was actually created for radio. And personally, I think that's pretty exciting. I think that's something that would deserves its own respect in that way, and not be made into Seth Rogen movies. But whatever. Anyway, I didn't see the Seth Rogen movie, but I heard very, very awful things about it. It didn't look very appealing to me. But this looks like an exciting car. I'm not huge on this. AMT just came out with a 1/25th scale version, so you can get one that's a little bit bigger if you do want to if you do collect 1/25th scale cars, and you do like putting those together and have a lot of 1/25th scale cars up against each other. There is I think Polar Lights has a 1/25th scale Batmobile from the 60s. So you could have your 1/25th scale AMT Green Hornet and the 1/25th scale Batmobile sitting in a diorama where they're parked next to each other while they're fighting it out. Another interesting bit of lore that I found out is that Bruce Lee was so popular at the time that even the person that played the Green Hornet on the show wanted to learn some kung fu from him to have a little bit more action scenes and not be shown up by his driver. So how fun is this? And with a little bit of paint, probably like a tinted green thrown into some semi-gloss black, or maybe some just a dark green color thrown into a semi-gloss black mixed up so that it has this greenish appearance. This looks kind of black and molded in black, but if you look at if you Google the Black Beauty, you're going to find out that it has a greenish look to it when it's for the car that it was portrayed. And also you can see that there's some like green tinted glass. You've got gas guns and you've got rocket launchers, and this is a real fun looking car. So this is something that I look forward to making. I will probably not make it like the Black Beauty. I'll probably do something else with it. But even if I do this just like this, it'll be a lot of fun. But I like these aggressive lines. It's a very sharp looking car. No pun intended, sharp creases. But I do like the way this looks, and I wonder if I can get more of a look from the front end than it shows right here. So something like that. Also, that came up just the last couple of days is I happened to be in New York for the solar eclipse of 2024, and in the line of totality. And I wanted to, and I had it all set up, do a live stream for the eclipse, and that didn't work out. There was very frustrating not to get a very good image or video of the eclipse as it was happening. As the moon was approaching the sun, which took about an hour and a half's time, as it was covering up, if you were just looking out there without shielded glasses, there was no way for you to know that anything was going on. It was only as the moon was almost obscuring the sun, when it was almost to the air, did you start seeing the light kind of wash out, and it had this weird fluorescent or white LED look to it, to the surrounding color, and things were kind of fading a little bit, like in a science fiction movie or something. Even as the moon was covering all but the slightest sliver of the sun, It was bright. You couldn't stare, you couldn't look at the sun without protection. You didn't know that anything really was going on with the exception of the weird color shift. It was almost like a big dark rain cloud was moving over the area is the way the colors were playing off of it. Um, so up until the least sliver, I mean, it was still bright as day. And the second that it came over, that's when you had complete darkness. It looked like right after the sun actually goes over the horizon and the last bit of light has just kind of faded. You could make things out, but just barely. Um, it was really interesting. The You could feel a temperature drop several minutes before the totality. It dropped about 10 degrees, I'm told. Very exciting, very neat. I'm trying to get pictures and I'm trying to get images of the shadow looks like, and I'm missing the whole entire eclipse. And finally, I look up at the sun. I saw that beautiful ring around it, where the moon was taken in. I was frustrated because I couldn't get a good image, and then I saw this little tiny bright spot right here, and I realized that it was too late. That it was now moving outside of the away from the sun. So I only got to see a couple seconds of it myself. I'm going to tell you, I've seen a lot of amazing things. The Grand Canyon, lightning that lights up the whole daytime, but I've never ever seen anything as magnificent of this. This is something that I will that's touched me deeply, and I just really appreciate the opportunity to see the eclipse. And if anybody ever does have an opportunity to travel where there's going to be a totality, I really recommend it because this was something that nothing else on Earth really measures up to. So that was something that I think is very special, and I really appreciate being a part of it. So I do apologize for not having a live stream up on Monday. There was nothing I could do to avoid that. Cell coverage in the area was horrible. Where I ended up, it was a very small town. It was a very cute town, and so it was up in the Adirondack Mountains, and you could see people. There were where we were. It's close enough to the borders of Vermont. You're within that New England area, so there was people from Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York City, which was about 5 hours away from there. You had people from Pennsylvania. You had people from Maryland and Virginia. I talked to people that were from Florida. There was some people from California, and I even saw a Montana license plate. So a lot of people from all over. There, I'm sure there were people from other countries. I saw a group of people that looked like they were sounded like they were speaking Chinese. So very interesting. A lot of people were very excited to be there, and I was excited to be there, and it's something that I'm going to cherish always. If you have any questions about that or about this kit, any suggestions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. I really appreciate that. I really love to hear what you guys have to say about the subjects we cover. I like to hear what you guys have to say about your ideas for the channel, or things that I'm doing good, things that I'm not doing so good. Please leave those in the comments below. Let me know if there's something that you'd like to see. It's definitely something I can do a review on, if not a full build. But I would look forward to doing something that would be a little bit more popular to more people. I have my own interest, and that's doesn't always translate across the board. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking the video, for commenting, for doing the things that you good people do. And as always, enjoy the hobby that we enjoy. Do it for what it does to bring peace in your life, or to unleash your creative monster. But just do it for you, and share it with those around you. And as always, have a great day.